Peter Hitchens. The journalist and commentator Peter Hitchens once said in the book Abolition of Britain, I believe, the only way for Britain to survive as a proper country is to destroy the Tory party. I couldn't agree more with this, but it got me thinking, how would this be done? I want everyone to watch this video and leave comments and suggestions. I'm going to go through a few reasons why and how I think the Tory party can be destroyed, but I'm obviously not going to get everything, so please leave your comments below. Destroying the Tory containment. The Conservative Party has, at least within the modern era, and possibly beyond, had a very clever containment strategy. That is, to seem like the Tories, the Conservative Party, are pro low numbers of immigration. This could not be further from the truth. But the way the Tories manufacture this narrative is by blaming international institutions and international law, by blaming the judicial system, and by using vulgar language towards illegal immigrants, which I think is unnecessary and gets nowhere. If the Conservative Party could be shown to actually favour mass immigration, I genuinely think that no one would vote for them. Obviously, you can't just expose it in the news. It has to be exposed constantly and constantly rubbed in the faces of Tory voters. I mean, there's all sorts of polls on this question. Most Tory voters and most Tory members are for low immigration. But under the Tories, we have ever rising immigration. There's something there that doesn't quite add up. And I don't think most people are unaware of it. I think what needs to happen is the Tories need to be shown as, instead of a moderating force to mass immigration, they are actually causing mass immigration and allowing it to happen. By blaming the courts, the Tories are able to essentially lie to the public and say, oh, we are pro-low immigration, however, the human rights courts, the courts, and whoever, all these activist lawyers, won't let us reduce immigration numbers and deport illegal immigrants. That is a lie, basically. If you want to find out more about why that is a lie, I've got an upcoming article which is about this very topic, and there is other stuff in my articles. There's an article called Tory Containment which goes into this in detail. But yes, it's a lie, and it needs to be shown as a lie. The other thing the Conservative Party do very well is using vulgar language towards illegal immigrants to get public attention. It's red meat, basically. And that needs to be shown for what it is and called out for what it is. I don't see the point in Suella Braverman saying the people coming across the channel are an invasion. I want her to do, not say. And in my opinion, it's generally better to do, not say, because people will be more likely to object with you if you say something and phrase it in a certain way, whereas if you just do it, most people aren't going to notice or care. Brexit. Brexit is another thing and another example of Tory containment, because the free movement of peoples was often cited, or immigration was often cited, as the reason why Brexit happened. But looking back on it, it doesn't seem to be the case that the immigration couldn't have been lowered without Brexit. immigration could have been lowered without Brexit. And the way that Brexit was used by people who are pro-mass immigration, I think is quite unacceptable. Because most people, most intelligent, smart political actors who are sceptical towards mass immigration and for lower immigration were putting their time and energy for 20 years into leaving the EU. And now Britain has left the EU, immigration numbers are even higher than they were when we were in the EU. I'm not saying we should go back into the EU, but containment strategies like Brexit, like blaming the courts, need to stop. They need to stop being effective. And I'm going to go into how this is done. Recalls are a great way of putting pressure on a politician. In the UK, you can recall your MP if a significant percentage of the people who voted in the last general election write to the Electoral Commission and say they want there to be a recall. This has only happened once in the UK, but I would be very interested to know what would happen if there was a nationwide campaign to recall Tory MPs on the immigration question and keep recalling them. I would suggest the Conservative Party would put in some kind of legislation and just not enforce it, or they'd put in legislation with so many loopholes in it that actually immigration continues to be a problem and there is no real reduction in the numbers. That's what I think would happen in terms of recalling. But eventually it would get to the point where the Conservatives are constantly having to spend resources, and sometimes they'll start losing MPs. And if that kind of effort is sustained, eventually, God willing, the Conservative Party will be destroyed. Another way to destroy the Tory party is to give voters someone else to vote for. I mean, the reason why most people vote Conservative is because it's better than Labour. It's better than Labour. It's better than Labour. People need someone else to vote for who is pro-ending mass immigration. And it doesn't have to win. The party doesn't have to win. It just has to take all the votes away from the Conservative Party, or a significant number of votes from the Conservative Party, and make it so the Conservative Party cannot win another election. That would be an ideal. The Brexit Party could have done this, and UKIP should have done it. If UKIP and the Brexit Party had not cooperated with the Conservative Party, the Conservative Party probably wouldn't be in power today. And okay, a party losing power for a couple of years isn't destroying it, but this is all I can think of in terms of creating an attack strategy to try and destroy the Tory party. Now I'm going to move on to how you get the message out and how you make every Conservative Party voter aware that the Conservative Party is the pro-mass immigration party. There needs to be, within the media, a complete drop of any kind of Conservative containment talking points. So even among people who are not necessarily mainstream politicians or mainstream media figures like Nigel Farage still blames the EU, courts of human rights, activist lawyers, and so on. That needs to stop. It needs to be the Conservative Party, with their massive majority, have the power to stop illegal immigrants and reduce immigration numbers. Why don't they? It's because they're pro-mass immigration, and that needs to be the public narrative. The Conservative Party are pro-mass immigration. If it doesn't become the narrative that the Conservative Party are pro-mass immigration, no one is going to see any change. And I am aware that this is going to take a lot of organisation, but organisation creates oligarchy. And I would also say that this isn't going to have a fast result. The Conservative Party could perhaps be bullied by a well-organised minority into adopting more small immigration, small state policies, but that well-organised minority doesn't exist at present, and it needs to be created. There needs to be people who are willing to start movements and focus on destroying the Tory party. I mean, PA do this, and apparently they do quite well. I mean, they end up in the Hope Not Hate report, and Hope Not Hate talk about them and say they're a threat to democracy. So normally when someone says you're a threat to democracy, you're doing quite well. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this video has been helpful. Please let me know your thoughts below, and if you want to improve your public speaking skills, or you want to learn more about legal and political strategy from my point of view, please check out my Substack.